Good morning. How are you folks today? Listen, again, I do humbly appreciate you viewing these videos. This has been 40 years putting together and working with people, and so I'm humbled to share it with you. And I find there's just such a lack of understanding of health, and we just keep treatment-based thinking alive here, and we just can't use treatment-based thinking anymore. We've got to get beyond that. Because of the genetic weaknesses and because of the lymph systems at the level that they are, there's nothing you can do to treat those things. You've got to rebuild, regenerate, clean that body out, and that's how simple it is. And yet there's so many practitioners lost in this treatment-based, this intellectual sort of thinking. So I pride myself actually being more simplistic in my thinking. I was an intellectual at one time, so forgive me if I don't get too intellectual. And I keep tying everything back to the same because simplicity always rules. You'll be a lot happier if you keep your life simple, because you'll never find the answers if you use the mind. This is the question and answer video. I'm going to try to keep up with your questions. As long as I can breathe, I'll keep going. So I had some good questions here. We don't have a lot of them, so perhaps this will be a short video. This one lady talking about fibrocystic breasts, and this is a common problem among women. What do you think? What do you think causes fibrocystic problems? Could I say it was the same thing that causes fibromyalgia? Could I say that it's the same thing that causes lupus? Could I say it's the same thing that causes all arthritises? Absolutely. So go back. Remember that the body, including the breast tissue, is nothing but a bunch of cells and two fluids. And there's how many sides to chemistry? Two. Now how simple is this? The human body is comprised of roughly 100 trillion cells that make up all the different tissues, organs and glands, whatever. You're only two fluids that take care of the health of them, just like taking care of your little children. At a certain point when they're infants, you've got to feed them and clean them until they can do it on their own. Your cells can't do it on their own. They always have to be taken care of. And that's the role of the two fluids. It's that simple. And so feeding the children, meaning the 100 trillion cells, you're learning that. And I love the fact that you guys are raw foodists. I love the fact that you guys are fruitarian thinkers. You can have some meat for those that do. Don't feel guilty. You do your best. You do your best. But have that meat with a salad. And I remember one of these comments was about a primate family that eats meat and then puts leaves around it. I appreciate that comment, Isn't it very unnatural to see a primate eating meat? I find that to be so unnatural that it's cannibalism. And National Geographic did a story on cannibalism, and this one tribe in New Guinea, the women got the human meat, but the warriors got the wild hog. The warriors were healthy and strong. The women were febrile, and the children were febile. And, of course, they didn't realize in genetics they'll lose the warrior strength. Sad cases. And so there are some cannibalistic monkeys. There's that chimpanzee family, and I believe that this was the group that escaped from that research center, probably fed meat. It's like the chimp that ripped that lady's face off. The lady that was raising him fed him filet mignons and fed him wine and stuff. I mean, what was she thinking? What are we thinking when we look at the Homo sapien and the primates and think that they're carnivores and or even omnivores? Anthropologists used to call us omnivores. Omnivores? We're not omnivores. We eat omnivorish. Look what's happening to us. So you just can't do it. Fibrocystic breast, though, you got to go by the way of the kidneys. Remember how your lymph system works. Your cells eliminate waste. These wastes are picked up by the lymph fluids that flow around the cells. Remember, these interstitial fluids, or these fluids that flow around all your cells, are 75% lymph and only 25% blood. meaning that the body reveres the sewage system as much as or a lot more in a way than it does the blood. So it's a very intricate system. And a lot of people are always talking about their blood vessels, but they're never talking about their lymph vessels. Your body's full of lymph vessels, and these are your sewer pipes that carry these wastes to the lymph nodes. And remember, your lymph nodes are exactly the same thing as your septic tanks at your house. They're full of bacteria, and their job is to bring that roughly 3 pH acid chemistry from waste closer to 6. You don't want to hit the kidneys with too much of an acid waste or you're going to hurt them. That's why, 3 pH chemistry, which is around most soda pops, very damaging to tissue. So when you look at the breast, you've got nothing but a bunch of cells, and you have all your septic tanks under your arm that drain your arm, that drain your breast, your part of your back, all drains into this huge bed of axillary lymph nodes and then right off to your right kidney, and the same thing on the left side. That kidney is the key. If you have a tumor in your breast, if you have cysts in your breast, lumps in your breast, fibrocystic breast, this kidney ain't filtering. And it'll back up these lymph nodes first, and then that'll back up this. Everything backs up backwards. Takes time, but it'll really break you down. The same thing's true with fibroids in the uterus, ovarian cysts. Same thing, but for us men, it's the same thing with prostatitis and prostate. Same thing. Always the same thing. Now, I don't want you to tell too many people how simple this is. Kind of scary, isn't it? So, easy to remedy these fibrocystic breasts. She's got thoracic outlet syndrome. She had chronic insomnia. Now, panic attacks. Panic attacks, of course, is coming from the adrenal glands, real low blood pressures. If you think your blood pressure is high, once you fix that, you're going to have low blood pressure. This is adrenal glands, weak autonomic. But then here's the kidneys. Of course the kidneys and adrenals, your fibrocystic breasts. The other side of this is insomnia. This probably reaches, I don't know if you still have your tonsils or not. Those are the lymph nodes, at least some of the lymph nodes to the brain. You never remove lymph nodes. So when you remove tonsils or adenoids, then you're compromised at draining your cells in your brain of their sewage, and it backs up, affecting the pineal gland. So you can go down to the health food store and buy melatonin. The problem with melatonin, it's a hormone, and you never want to use that really, because you'll make your pineal gland even lazier. You want to get your brain detoxified. You use a glandular if you need to for the pineal gland. Someone asked me also about bunions. Move those lymphs. That's also giving you indication you're losing your filtration of your lymph system in your legs, which is your kidneys again. Now, Mary, there was another comment here on swollen legs, and I think that I told you about this lady that was in the other day, and both legs are pretty big. And she said that her MD told her she had venous insufficiency. And I said, yeah, they think that, but that's because they're unaware. They don't understand that the venous system does not remove cellular waste. Your lymph system does. So we stripped her veins 3 different times, and of course it made no difference on her. And he said, well, I could do it 2 more times. You know, what? I said, this is your lymph system. You're in kidney failure. When the ankles swell and the feet swell, guys, you're in kidney failure. Matter of fact, one of the questions here was about that sort of thing. Blood circulation. This was watching your videos. I appreciate that. She is that a female? Yeah, looks like a female. Pretty flower there. She has swelling in her feet and ankles and hardening places around the calves. Losing your kidneys, sweetheart. You're losing your kidneys' ability to filter your lymph system. This has nothing to do with poor blood circulation. This is poor lymph circulation. A very serious problem. If you're having more blood circulation problems, you're going to see more darkness. You're going to see more toward the gangrene side of the life. But you're here, if you want to increase blood flow, you can use these circulation formulas that we have, or any herbs for circulation, but the diet for circulation is always going to be fruits and berries. You're here, if you want to increase blood flow, you can use these circulation formulas that we have, or any herbs for circulation, but the diet for circulation is always going to be fruits and berries. By far the only foods for proper circulation in the body. The problem is, and the problem with cholesterol plaquing or calcifications, you're going back to the acid side of chemistry, and you're going back to not on the arteries, you're going in the artery wall or vascular walls. This, if you look at the commercial for Lipitor or Plavix, and now even Crestor changed their commercial because they had it wrong for a long time, and somebody then obviously called them, and they changed it appropriately and put cholesterol in the artery wall, not on the artery wall. Because this is all simply about the war there is in chemistry between the two sides. Male and females battling each other, acid and alkalis or bases battling each other. And so the body can't have acids win and be healthy and alive, so it has more help to it, and that is cholesterol and calcium, and we've talked about that. That can create poor blood circulation. But most people that have this, they think it's blood circulation, like allopathic thinking. It is not. It's poor lymph circulation, and that you've got to fix that, because that'll reach not only in the lower part of your body, it'll come all up in here as well. They want me to do one on the heart, but and we will. That was one of my specialties. Spent a lot of years in nuclear medicine, cardiopulmonary, and emergency rooms around heart work. I kind of burned my eyes too much with radiation and nuclear medicine. That's a scary place. But it's important to understand that in congestive heart failure and in most failures, whether it's a nervous system affecting the depolarization of the heart, whether it's the blood flow to the heart cells, whether it's the lymph system of the heart, like I said, CHF, congestive heart failure, this still all has its basis in the lymph system. You'll be amazed how simple the human body is when you look at it simplistically, and how when you work on that one system, everything cures itself. I find it very simple. When you find out how simple it is, you'll go, well, Dr. Morse, man. But that's important for you, honey, to fix your kidneys. And the same thing here with the fibrocystic breast. Someone asked me about goat dairy. You know, I tried to get Dr. Jensen and his wife, Marie, off of goat's milk. Dr. Jensen wrote a book on goat's milk. And why do we have this need to drink anything that's milk after the age 2? I used to think it was 3. But this medical doctor on Fox News, an old professor guy, said it was 2, and I'll go with him. Age 2, your body loses lactase, except for, I think, a few Brits. But your body loses lactase because there's a point when you have a growth time, and then there's a point. Okay, I'll wrap this up. I got a client coming in here, and so I've got to wrap this up. There's a point when you're supposed to biologically be weaned. If you're going to go feed your child any milk that's an animal milk, do raw organic goat's milk. But it is better that you make a milk for the body, and that would be out of fresh coconut milk. You can add a little grape and apple juice. If you wanted to add a little hemp powder or a little almond powder, you could do that. You can make a very powerful child's formula, infant formula, which I'm telling you, we're having one coming out. Kefirs and yogurts, they're very, very congesting to the human body, and this is your lymph system, and that's a real serious thing to congest. In you guys learning through detoxification how hard it is to clean your lymph systems, you don't want to clog it back up. You know, it is such a trip. And sometimes those that have had dairy products all their lives could take several years cleaning their lymph systems. And that's if you're focused on it. So don't get discouraged, because the lymph system is the biggest challenge you face in getting your body healthy. So don't get discouraged, but get rid of the milk products. I think that we ought to start suing some of these milk makers. I mean, you ultra-pasteurized milk and you call it a food? It's a few molecules away from plastic, and we're going to call it a food? I mean, this is where the problem is. I mean, it's unbelievable. I see people in pneumonia in hospitals giving milk. I mean, please, society, we got to grow out of this. I'm going to try to hurry here because I have to go, but there's a lot of comments on teeth. Well, dentists for a long time blamed bacteria, but the Minnesota School of Dentistry now is understanding, whoa, wait a minute, it's acids. And acids come from the very cells themselves within the gums. It's just your inability, you're full of lymph nodes here. Your inability to move lymph means retention of acids, and that means gum decay, that means your bone decay, tooth decay. What's your teeth? Nothing but cells. What's your gums? Nothing but cells. What's your skeletal structure? Jaw. Nothing but cells. So you see where I'm at here with that? I'll say this. If you do too much holistic dentistry, they'll pull all your teeth out. Get rid of your amalgams, get rid of your metals. I can't believe, this is when I do believe that dentists should be sued, is when they're using mercury again. You don't put mercury, it's a neurotoxin. We know mercury is a bad neurotoxin. So you don't do it, you know. Use a composite or use gold or something if you have to. It depends how you want your teeth. Maybe we'll get into a bigger discussion about this later, but you have to do what you have to do. In Europe, when they do a root canal, they fill it with calcium. In America, they filled it with a cell-killing substance that killed the tooth. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. America has a fetish with chemistry. Now, this is important. I want to get this in before I go today, and this deals with hemorrhoids. Look to your parathyroid gland. Get on a glandular for the parathyroid gland. It'll start giving calcium utilization. Use a lower circulation formula. Start strengthening the vascular walls. Now, on a detoxification, if you ever had hemorrhoids, you could have them bad from detoxification because weaknesses come right out in your face. So if you're on raw, this might be another reason why. You can use the different substances like Preparation H while you're working with this. We have some hemorrhoid formulas in the pharmacy here that will help you. Even our prolapsed organs are designed for things like hemorrhoids. White oak bark, white pond lily, these astringents, witch hazels are all good for strengthening tissue. And so you can use those sort of things to help you. Even our prolapsed organs are designed for things like hemorrhoids, white oak bark, white pond lily, these astringents, witch hazels are all good for strengthening tissue. And so you can use those sort of things to help you. But I would be on a kind of a fair raw diet. You might have to be careful. Too much raw will make them really hurt. You might have to balance out your raw to cooked a little bit and do 60-40 or 70-30. But definitely use a circulation formula lower. That'll help strengthen the vascular walls there. And the same thing, make sure your parathyroid is utilizing calcium. It'll strengthen that connective tissue of the herniated wall there. And go in that direction. You could use a gentle, not a laxative, a bowel restorative formula, not something that moves you if you're already moving. If you're not moving, use about number 2. Our stomach and bowel number 2 has just a pinch of cascara, the safest and nicest of them all. Much better than turkey rhubarb, buckthorn, aloes. Those are purgatives. Those are addicting. Cascara is not addicting. I've used it for 40 years. A little gentle nudge to help you, but at the same time, you want to use marshmallow, slippery elm root, any anti-inflammatory, mullein. It'll help to soothe that. Your astringent herbs like witch hazel, white oak bark will strengthen that wall. Remember the parathyroid gland. I'm going to have to run. I did like this one on protein and kidneys. I appreciate that. And melamine. I mean, my God, we're out there. And I can't believe that people and chemists are so out there that we're doing these melamines and things like this. I mean, this is known. I remember the bovine growth hormone and that story. I watched Eye on America one time, and the guy that wrote the book on milk exposing this bovine growth hormone really chewed up the the American Dietetics Association. When you claim that these sort of things are healthy, you're either smoking something in the back room or you're just ignorant as all get out, and you kind of people need to step out of power, because you're hurting everybody by allowing these things in here, and it can't be about the money anymore. It just can't be about the money anymore. It's not worth destruction of the human race for money. We've got to get out of this greed. So eat raw foods, power up the brain and nerve, get people up. Maybe we should get a high enema and start giving it to all our elected officials and all these people in places of power. Let's give them some green drink enemas and get them on fruit. Maybe they'll wake up. All right, thank you for listening. I apologize, I've got to run, but keep them coming. I love you all. Have a great day. Thank you.